Division one, Division one, Division one, Division one. Ba-dum-bum-bum. Hey, we are live, and we're gonna go ahead and play some elevator music for your pleasure. Go ahead and share this out, and guess what? We will see you on the other side. We have a big show for you. Good evening. Episode 86 of LightsThunderAction is here, and we have weeks worth of news, or maybe just the last 3 days worth of news to dive into. We're also going to jump right into it. Doctor Strange 2 box office dip, and following that up with The Boys Season 3 trailer. We'll see you on the other side. Welcome to
LTA with
TCR
and JRB.
This is where the fun begins. You're just not thinking fourth dimensional.
Peter 03.
Num num.
I'm vengeance.
What? Did we just become best friends? Yep.
I love you guys.
Hold on to your butts.
If we find out you have personalized license plates, you die.
Dude, I almost had you.
To that I say, all right, all right, all right.
Good evening. It is May 16, 2022, and it is time for your Monday night pick-me-up, where two Thunder buddies dive into all things Marvel, DC, pop culture, IP, and the latest happenings in the film industry.
Yes, on tonight's show, Thomas and I are talking about the trailer that dropped today for season 3 of The Boys. And then we're going to take a look at all the new movies to look forward to following CinemaCon's big announcements. And Doctor Strange 2 joined some sour company after its second weekend in theaters. So we'll be talking about that as well. But first, Thomas, where can everyone find us?
We are live beaming directly into your homes and phones via our LightsThunderAction Facebook and the HWWS WebTV channel on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. You can find all of those links at Linktree.com/LightsThunderAction. Be sure to like, subscribe, follow to view the live version of our show where you can interact with us. But if you don't want to look at our beautiful bearded faces, but you'd like to listen to our beautiful bearded voices, JRB,
Then you can find us on Apple Podcasts, Good Pods, and Spotify. Follow and subscribe on those platforms while you're there. Leave us a 5-star review, if you will, and ask us a question in your review, and we'll take it right on here on the show and answer it for you. So with that out of the way, Thomas, how are you, buddy?
I am doing well, good sir. Accidentally had the day off because the material wasn't ready to go to work. So, hey, fun. But we are 2 days away from me leaving for MegaCon, and it is going to be full tilt from Wednesday to Sunday. So I kind of needed a me day, you know. Also, it's nice to have time to prep the show here and there.
When is MegaCon? When is that?
MegaCon, ladies, gentlemen, and non-binary beautiful homies, that is going to be May 19th to the 22nd at the Orange County Convention Center in Orlando, Florida. And HWWS WebTV presence there will be mighty. And the LTA, us, you know, just LightsThunderAction here, will be hosting the second annual Thunder Buddies Inside the Headlines on Saturday, May 21st at noon on the creator stage of the vendor's floor. Sweet. And big news, everybody. David Thompson will be there.
Yes.
Unless something crazy happens, he will be there. I got confirmation last night because teacher stuff and wedding planning, you know, it's a busy life. Hey man, when you're a world famous journalist like David Thompson or John Ross Bradford, the Kleinfeld, you know, all of our friends, Garrett, GW Palmer, like we got a lot of world famous journalists. Ryan Permerson, the next world famous journalist. We know a lot. We know too many. Thankfully, I'm not a journalist. So I balance out the scales somehow. But it's going to be a fantastic time. I can guarantee you, because I started writing the script today, we're going to talk about some of the biggest news that has been around, because, you know, it's a live event. You kind of want to sucker people in with the stuff they want to talk about, right? Sucker people in. I'm sorry. That's not the right word. You want to suck people in. There you go. You want to pull the focus. You want to pull the focus. Let me use proper wording here. But the fact is, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk a little bit about the multiverse of madness fallout. I should slow down. Okay. And then we're going to talk, obviously, Obi-Wan Kenobi, which 100%, if you're watching live right now and you see me at MegaCon, you know I'm breaking that out multiple times. That's why I wanted to talk Kenobi. I got to let the people know what the voice box can do over here. Got to let them know the vocal range. But JRB, how you doing, big guy? You had a busy day.
Man. Yeah, I have a busy life, man. I too am. I and my fiance are both planning a wedding as well. Luckily, we have a bit of time on our side still. But that does take up the majority of the free time that we do have. So, but
Fair.
luckily, she is gracious enough to still allow the time for me to join you every week and talk everything that we love. So, you want to get right into it? I think we have to talk about Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness and how it did in its second weekend.
I think it did pretty good.
I think it did okay for what it is. I don't think it did terrible. I think this is pretty expected considering how big of an event it is. But let's just get into it. So Doctor Strange 2's second weekend at the box office was not the best. Compared to its first weekend earnings, it dropped 67%, which makes it one of the largest dips in a second weekend in theaters for any Marvel film. So this comes to us from Deadline. It says, while that drop at 67% is akin to the second weekend declines of recent MCU titles, such as the uber successful Spider-Man No Way Home at 67.5% drop, which I'll get into that more in a minute, and Black Widow at 67.8%. They are telling you to know that all these percentile plummets are not equal. So Doctor Strange 2 ranks among the MCU's biggest second weekend box office drops, which includes Black Widow, No Way Home, and the Hulk movie from 2003. So the one Kevin Feige helped make, but not the MCU one. That was a 70%. Wow. That's the worst one.
Wow.
But in case you're curious like me, you see No Way Home on that list and you go, how in the world is it joining films like this with the biggest drops ever? Well, No Way Home's second weekend in the box office was on Christmas Day. It was Christmas Eve was Friday, Christmas Day was Saturday. Two of the biggest movie-going days of the week. Christmas took up both of them. So that contributed a ton, but they did go on to add in this same report from Deadline that the weekdays leading up to that Christmas weekend raked in an average of $30 million a night from Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, an average of 30 million, which is a good Friday for any big blockbuster film in its opening weekend. So Doctor Strange 2 is didn't pull in nearly as many people in its second week. I think it has a lot to do with the word of mouth, which they go on to talk about too. It was put up to be this big Marvel event, which it is, but it's not to the level of, let's say, Avengers Endgame. So once you see it, you realize the story behind it and what's driving it. And it's not, I don't want to say it's not all that, but at the same time, it was much more contained than many people expected. So Thomas, you see this report that Doctor Strange dropped 67% in its second week in earnings. What does that tell you?
Yeah, that the word of mouth is not good there, is what it seems like. But man, it's like right there. So No Way Home, how much did No Way Home make? It made a lot more opening weekend, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, these are not at all relative in terms of what they actually opened at. It's just, relatively how much they all dropped their second weekend in theater. So No Way Home's earnings were much higher than this.
I think that's the big story here, is comparing them all to like what their opening weekend was. Because sure, they're all, honestly, Marvel films regularly have a decent drop.
Sure.
Even Endgame had a fat drop of, what was it, 51%? That's half of the people who saw it, right?
Yeah.
Granted, that's also a crazy small number, but 50 to 67% seems to be the range for MCU movies. A floating range of 17% is not all bad, but again, it all depends on how much you make an opening weekend.
That's true. Doctor Strange 2, they say in this same report from Deadline that it made about 187.4 million in its opening weekend, whereas Black Widow only made 80 million. They do mention that Black Widow did have the streaming option, but that's $100 million different right there. Even when you take into account all of the different obstacles Black Widow had to face.
Damn.
That's a big difference. That's $100 million. That's quite literally a whole movie's worth. Yeah, you're right. I mean, a huge opening weekend. That brings me back to my point that it was more so an event film that a lot of people went to go see once but aren't returning to the theaters for like they were for, say, Spider-Man No Way Home or Avengers Endgame, you know?
Yeah.
So I think that's the difference there, is this doesn't have that pull to keep you going back for people who aren't as big of fans like you and I are, you know? For a casual fan, seeing this movie once was probably enough.
Yeah. That's a great way to define event film. I hate to be a Martin Scorsese. This is like the first MCU film where I'm like, this really feels like a roller coaster ride. Like Spider-Man did, but in like a really good emotional way. This, which granted, they both kind of have the same thing where they have like a big emotion in the beginning, big emotion in the end. Spider-Man, they kind of cut emotion out for a little bit when they bring in all three. Here, they cut emotion out.
I don't know about that. They had the most emotional scene in the movie between the three of them.
The first one, right?
The rooftop one.
Yeah, well, after that, though, it's just all fun and games.
True. Except for whenever Andrew remembers Gwen. You're right. That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. That's a good point. So, okay, anyway, continue.
But Doctor Strange 2, its ride that it takes you on is more of, I guess, a horror jaunt. And I've seen it 3 times. Let me just put it out there. I've seen it 3 times. I've seen it in the IMAX. Best fucking way to see it. I don't want to see it in 3D. Yeah, I do not want to see it in 3D IMAX.
I've heard it's good in 3D though. I have heard plenty of people say they don't like 3D, but they did like it for this.
I don't like the story enough to see it for 3D. You know, it's a hype film. I love it for what it is, which means it's like in the middle of it's still in the middle of my rankings, even after my third. I enjoyed the setup a lot more. I saw things easier this time in the Wanda of it all. So the story to me has gotten better, but the emotion is not on the main character of the movie, which is why I support a retitling to just be Scarlet Witch in the Multiverse of Madness. I'll start that petition right now for everybody because it is
crazy that she's not even. She's not even, I mean, unless you really want to get technical with it and say that mom is in the title and that it was released near Mother's Day weekend, like,
and she's a mother,
right? Yeah, like that's the only indication of Wanda in this movie title, you know, and that is super obscure. When in reality, she had arguably more emotional depth in this movie than the main character did. It's close. It is close. There was plenty of it on both sides, but I think she might have outweighed him on the scales a little bit. So, but yeah, this Doctor Strange 2 second weekend, this was not totally what I expected, but it does make sense considering the context and considering what this film turned out to be. You know, it's a Sam Raimi flick, you know, and it's with Marvel characters.
And so this was its second weekend, right? So I've seen it 3 times in 2 weeks. You're welcome, Marvel.
Right. See, that may be normal for us, but like others are just not doing that with this movie.
I almost didn't go back a second time, but I knew I'd like it more and I'd see things better. And then the third time I needed it on IMAX. Terry McIver finally got to saw it. Our buddy and producer Terry, he says he's seen it. He got to see it on Wednesday and it hit all the right notes for him, which at the end of the day is all that matters. It landed on the emotional beats of Wanda. Like she's all the emotion in the film. And I love it in my opinion. And then America Chavez eats scenery. And I'm just saying, go see it again, people.
One more time.
There's one more time. Definitely worth a second watch.
It is worth a second watch.
Going in and going, what the hell is one thing. Going in, knowing what happens, goes, oh.
Yeah. You miss a lot of it in the roller coaster ride because you're right. It's a ride, and as soon as it starts, it doesn't stop until it hits that 2-hour mark. So yeah, it's nice to take a breath and then go back in and take a little time to digest what you're seeing because there is a lot to it, and it does imply some pretty big things about the future of the MCU. But what do you guys think about Doctor Strange 2 in the Multiverse of Madness? Will you go see it again? Do you think it'll be more rewatchable once it's on disc or on Disney Plus? Let us know in the comments. I'm curious to know what everyone else feels about this movie's performance. Thomas. Any last thoughts on Doctor Strange 2?
Actually, the Illuminati scene, if you will, it does pop in IMAX, but
Two different ways, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of different ways. But talking about something that there's a lot in it and there's a lot going on, and once it starts, it doesn't really stop, in the beat pop. Anyways, and it's crazy about what's going on in the future. Yeah, that's because we're talking the Boys season 3 trailer.
That's right.
And we are going to do what we do best, and that is break it down. Helps if I add the screen. There you go, bud.
There it is. Let's go.
It is. Producer and personality. Tough gig sometimes, but we're gonna have the sound off. So
for
the audio listeners, guess what? You get the special benefit on podcast form of listening to it while we talk over it, because I'm gonna rip it and throw it into the edit. You're welcome. Audio exclusives. But for the videos, we're here for what it says on the screen. Homelander, I'm also a man who fell for the wrong woman, And he's saying it over and over and over in that, marketing screen that's been going around about propaganda.
We all should have seen this coming, that they would fall back on this toxic relationship thing that he's going to use as a cop-out.
Yeah. Yes. And he is, oh my God. Like, it's going to be fantastic, but
he looks unhinged.
He looks incredibly.
Here he is milking a cow with some insanely weird-looking udders while
playing with blood.
God.
Starfire? No,
Starfire. When Starlight says that there's something wrong with Homelander, and then it pans over to Butcher, who goes and he finds Becca's kid, Homelander's kid, and he's being protected by the people that he works for, or worked for at one point. But then it shows Billy just beating the crap out of someone who looks like a soup.
Yeah, it does. And there's talking about, he's doing well. He's not getting in trouble. He's even following Huey's rules. Now we're going to jump to MM really quick. We get to see MM's daughter, I believe, for the first time here.
Right. Seems to be some sort of birthday party where she's actually dressed as Starlight, which is got to be so weird for him, because there's a guy dressed as Homelander also at the party, and to entertain his kids while he knows what these guys truly symbolizes. Oh, nuts.
Absolutely. And then this is where we're a minute in, and now we're about to do a lot of pausing and talking here. Homelander's attacking A-Train, shocker. And
while Maeve just curiously watches from down the hall.
So the trailer would have you believe, also probably true. But
still in her superhero gear too.
Which
will be important.
I cannot remember who is the Vought. What's the Vought guy's name?
Giancarlo Esposito.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember his character.
It's like Edgar, right?
Edgar, yes. So Edgar is talking to Starlight about, this is not power pushing your hand and using this light. Real power is the ability to bend the world to your will. And then a body drops. And everybody turns and screams. We're going to try and figure out who this body is.
I already have my theories. And I don't think it's a coincidence that we just saw Homelander holding A-Train the way that he was right there.
Yeah. And we're paused here at 111, lies 112. And you can see it's an A-Train style suit. Falling, exploding. Everyone freaks
very
out.
Audible explosion too, with guts and all that. This is definitely a Red Band trailer.
Yeah. It is. You should watch it. Not kids though.
We
have to do it.
Not kids though.
Not kids though.
The immediate frame after you said that was a vase going straight through the back of a guy's head and coming out his mouth. So yeah, not for kids, guys.
What that was?
Let's go back and look. I think it was either that or an old style telephone.
Gotcha.
Oh, we're gonna freeze frame it right on that shot, aren't we?
We are, but this shot that I freeze frame on is in that same scene somebody was filming.
Yeah, right. They're teasing throughout this trailer that there's this new age of Homelander where he gets to be his true self, and I think he's gonna start. He seems more secure and more honest with the public, and it kind of makes me think, what if he's just truly unhinged now and he just doesn't care who knows it, and just
and
acting-
attracts certain people.
Right. I wonder if they're going to take like this weird political curve on it.
Oh,
I
you
don't-
think so? No, it
There's
doesn't
this
seem like
there's
that.
this
They didn't
rally
use-
that they'll show him at in a second. Let's keep going.
They didn't use propaganda at the very beginning, man. They're talking. Huey's saying, you know, the gloves are off. I thought we could fight Vault the right way, but we can't. It's all rigged. We have to do it your way. And then explosions. The senator from last season, who is the head exploder.
Mm-hmm. Huge reveal at the end of season 2,
Yeah.
by the
Spoilers,
way, and we only
Kleinfeld.
get just a glimpse of her here, where all this other chaos is going on, and she's also just kind of existing in this trailer, just to remind us of this other problem they're going to have to address aside from all this chaos we're watching.
Yes. And then she's telling Starlight, we're all we've got. It's up to I'm sorry, Starlight saying that to MM. And then Maeve, now a part of the team. Shout out.
And now dressed as a
Maeve.
civilian.
Which
So she
best
this is
look?
definitely implying she has some sort of falling out with Vought or with the Seven, where she's acting outside of it. I don't think we've seen Maeve more than one time,
do that.
maybe twice, outside of her actual like superhero getup. And I think
I
both
see.
scenes were either in the hospital or at her apartment.
Yeah.
So this is pretty big. If there were no other times we've seen her like this. So Maeve is about to do something though that is pretty mind-boggling.
Yes, she says she thinks she has something. They open some stuff, and here we go. This looks to be Soldier Boy, possibly circa 50s.
Right. This is Jensen
or
Ackles,
70s. Yes.
who is showing up. He shows up a few times in the back half of this trailer, and he seems to be wearing a different getup in every shot. So we're definitely going to be seeing a lot of Soldier Boy history. And the end of the trailer specifically will tell you why we think so. So Thomas, what's going on here?
So we are seeing, it looks to be some origin story. He's handing off a rocket launcher to a minion, it would seem, doing some.
Who looks
he's
like a
turned-
mini Magneto or something. It's very
He
strange.
does. Then we open up a file. We see him in a even earlier Captain America style. His suit now is kind of Captain America from the Avengers game, is
But
what it reminds
also-
me of.
Also
And-
kind of mixed with like Spider-Man Noir. Like it's very strange in this picture.
Oh, this one. Yes. I was talking about his regular one.
Yes. Let's move it back to that first shot with the rocket launcher there, because that
Yeah.
honestly looks like Robin, like with the maroon armor, kind of like.
Okay.
Just the color scheme reminds me of like a Tim Drake Robin kind of look.
Ooh.
Which I'm already digging with this tactical. You know, they've been doing that with every character, making it modern and pretty realistic. But I really like the look here, especially with like the armor plating and stuff.
Yeah, it's a fantastic look. The helm is fantastic as well. And as he turns, that you can kind of see why I say the Avengers Captain America, because of how that attaches
totally.
here at the top.
And the star at the helmet too.
On the helmet, yeah. Then we get like a classic Captain America style leather jacket, World War II look.
Mhm.
And Maeve says maybe we can use it to blow Homelander's effing brains out. And then we see him bash a face in like John Walker. And I'm guessing that might be why he got axed. Maybe not. Then Maeve gives Butcher super soldier serum. I don't know what to call it, honestly, but at 24 hours, he gets superpowers. The
Is
whole
it just
point of
another
what we
form
do-
of like Compound V?
It would
We'll get
appear
into that.
so.
We'll
Yeah.
get into that. The next shot that they show immediately after that is this building with a giant hole burned into it on where like multiple stories have been leveled. And it
Yeah.
shows Jensen Ackles' Soldier Boy, this time with his hair grown out and this bushy beard, which we'll see again at the end of the trailer, where he seems like he's gone berserk, and he's showing a power set similar to Marvel's X-Men Havoc, where he's got these huge energy balls that he's releasing from his chest, and it seems like he's either not able to control it or it's getting out of control or something of that nature. But this building is pretty
It's
demolished.
gone.
Yeah, it's there's a hole all the way through it.
Yeah. Maybe someone should have told the engineer to make it energy blast proof. I don't know, man. You never know. In that universe, come on, there's got to be something. But MM is saying no one should have that kind of power. Pretty sure he's talking to Butcher about it because we very next see him shooting laser beams out of his freaking eyes. And he's saying
breaking someone's neck with just a simple chokehold. Like, he is enjoying this.
So much just happened.
So yeah,
right.
we
So
cut
we gotta
straight
rewind
from the
it.
building to Billy slicing people with his new laser eyes. Billy
Laser
Butcher
eyes.
has laser eyes and super strength.
Choking a
That
guy,
shot there, my goodness.
snapping a neck.
Woo.
He said he leveled the playing field. Then a quick cut. Soldier Boy demolitioning, going through people like a demolition crew. There it is. Someone shooting. MM doing a knife being thrown. The young lad, Homelander's young lad. Oh my god, I can't remember the kid's name. It's been so long. I guess
Wow.
JRB.
I can't either.
JRB. I guess that means we got to do a rewatch before.
Yes, we do. His name is Ryan Butcher.
Ryan Butcher.
But yeah, we're definitely going to be cranking through a rewatch. I still have to watch the animated series Diabolical because apparently it does actually provide some context for the season 3, specifically with Black Noir.
Oh boy!
So we're gonna have to
Noir.
go through that when we have some time because apparently this is coming out June 3rd.
June 3rd.
That's crazy, man. That's like 3 weeks from now.
Yeah, I can maybe crank that out in a week.
Maybe less.
Maybe
Yeah,
not.
that's crazy. But then we see yet another seemingly new hero in this shot. It looks sort of like Maeve, but she's got an all red suit and cape. And it's actually kind of reminiscent of Scarlet Witch, like Thomas had pointed out earlier when we were texting about it.
Yes, sir.
But then she exhibits almost a very similar power set, but more controlled to what we just saw Soldier Boy struggling with in the scene prior, where she uses it to just make two guys running from her explode from the inside out. They just turn into a pile of blood.
Ooh, look at that.
Wow. That
was aggressive.
So nasty, but they just cut right by it. And I think we might see Soldier Boy at the very last shot of that with the explosions in the background where she's running towards him. So they might be working together in some sense.
That's kind of what I was getting is they're going to be on a team. Something's going to happen. He's going to lose it all.
Yeah. Where maybe he somehow is gaining the powers of his former teammates. I don't know unless he was stealing them, but I don't know where they're going with his story. It seems like every shot we see him and he's just creating so many problems. But then we see what looks like a musical number in some sort of assisted living home or hospital.
Yes, there's a musical sequence. If I'm remembering right,
Frenchie and Kimiko.
I am so excited. Hey, man, as everybody knows from Flash season 3, everything's better in song. So, like, I love a damn good musical. The first one that ever got me was The Sound of Music. And it may or may not have been because I had seen Family Guy already. So when they were just going, so long, farewell, avida and adieu. It also could have been my grandma yelling at the kid playing a Nazi because she lived through the war in London. So she was a little angry at that kid. But I bet that kid loved that pop, man. He's like, yeah, I'm Rolf, man. I am Rolf, and I'm going to Rolf your face off. Anyways, back to the boys and people's faces getting ripped off. A lot
Very
of explosions.
casually just showed that the Deep is back with the 7. He was walking next to Homelander and seems to be either siding with him or trying to get back on his side, where he's taunting whoever he's walking away from with Homelander. And then, we just see someone explode. That's the senator.
I think that's the senator. Dang it, man. It's
so she was looking at an already dead body on the ground and decided to make it explode anyway.
Yes.
Which seems very strange, like she was destroying evidence.
Yeah, that's exactly what I think she's doing there, love.
Yeah.
This is the shot that I couldn't get in my phone, but I thought so. That is Mother's Milk in the back.
Mm-hmm. This is very reminiscent of that shot in the Doctor Strange 2 promo where it showed Wong and Scarlet Witch in the Wundagore, and it looked like they were like going to fight side by side, but really it was just those huge, whatever they were, Centurions that came over and like
Chthon.
Chthon, yeah, Chthon, or whatever people
Chthon.
thought he was. But this looked like the same trickery. But I think Mother's Milk and Starlight might actually be working together here.
Yeah, and the reason I couldn't figure it out and I needed to know earlier is because that's attacking Soldier Boy. So did they release a worse monster than Homelander? Looks likely.
I think they're gonna have a series.
Wait a minute.
We got to know who this
Wait
guy
a minute.
is. Is that
Yeah,
that's
his face is exposed, so it's not. It's got to be Soldier Boy, and then Dragonfly guy.
Yeah. I'll be honest. I have no idea who that guy is.
I don't either. But you know, it's not going well for him. And then here it is, the big reveal at the end: Billy Butcher, Soldier Boy, and he is fire. I don't even know if that's a fireball, dude. I think that's just through the fire and flames of his chest.
It just looks like thermal energy. Yeah, it doesn't. I can't tell what it is, but he doesn't seem to be able to control it. It's like he's got too much to handle or something. But then that shot of Billy right there looked like he couldn't control his laser eyes either. So maybe it's whenever you get a new power, it takes him getting used to, and this is him getting that new power.
Yeah. By the way, that rally you were talking about is here.
There it is, right there. That's Make America Great Again, bro. That's exactly what that is.
Like they shoot him coming in from the clouds.
Yeah.
In the city.
Look at this rally here.
This does not seem like the same shot, right?
No. This looks like something else. Because...
So is this in his mind or is this in the real world?
Ooh, that's a great question. This could also be a flashback. Yeah.
I don't know if it's even a flashback, dude. I think the whole he's lost his fucking mind is him literally doing stuff and then being like, haha, yes, you're welcome, thank you.
Oh, wow. Yeah. He's just
and they're all just staring at him.
Happening.
Like, could you imagine if they made him that broken? That power set, that broken, only to have Soldier Boy? Here's my crackpot theory really quick before we hop off this leading topic. Well, unless you got more to say, of course. The idea that I have based on some of Soldier Boy's powers and mindset and tendencies, personality tendencies, as well as the looks of the Scarlet Witch, as we're going to call her until we know her name.
All right. Scarlet Witch for the boys.
This came out today, and I did not have time to do the research on that as I was cranking out these other things. But I really would love to know over on comicbook.com. I'm guessing they would have the information.
I'm thinking so.
So Soldier Boy has some powers similar to Homelander and personality. Scarlet Witch kind of looks like Maeve in a lot of different ways.
Very similar.
Is that Maeve's mom?
Ooh.
Is Soldier Boy?
Is Maeve a legacy hero?
Is Homelander?
Oh, here we go.
Her brother? Are they legacy heroes of the same parents? I'm crack shooting right now, man. Crack shooting. I have crap shooting right now. I'm just throwing dice into the wind to see what sticks, man. But you know, I could see it, and it would add a nice nuance to both of those characters and emotional stakes. I mean, how does she know about Soldier Boy? Unless, of course, you know, she just stole the information from Vought, which is the likely way to go. But hey, let's indulge in the insanity for a moment. JRB, what do you got for this gloves off trailer?
So I was looking up the wiki for this Scarlet Witch, and very thematically, her name is actually the Crimson Countess. She did work for Vought. The history, this comes from fandom.com, the boys wiki for her. It says a Vought superheroine who was mentioned as having also been in the running to join the Seven like Starlight was. She also appears on a poster for the movie made about her. So this is all within the actual series.
Gotcha.
So apparently she's already been name dropped. I don't know if I remember that, but she's got the heat vision and pyrokinesis, so they can manipulate fire. So like Lamplighter. So they're basically firebenders.
Okay.
Yeah, but she's got heat vision, just like Homelander and apparently Billy Butcher. heat manipulation, fire immunity, and glowing eyes is also listed on here. She actually is a parody of the Scarlet Witch in Marvel Comics. Her catchphrase is "She's the Countess you can count on." So she was created as a parody of the Scarlet Witch.
Okay.
She's played by Laurie Holden, who played Andrea in The Walking Dead. And she'll become an arch nemesis to the boys, as in the trailer she creates a firebolt to kill Frenchie and Kimiko, but they dodge it and hit a Homelander mascot instead. So apparently their interpretation of it was that it was actually aimed at Frenchie and Kimiko and hit that imitator by accident, which I thought she was just aiming at the Homelander guy. But this says something a little different. But yeah, apparently she's going to be another antagonist, similar to... Wow,
Everybody
it feels
else.
like... How many antagonists are they going to bring back from like seasons past? Because when we had Liberty in season 2, it turned out to be the villain of the show, which was like cool, but also strange now that they're also bringing other characters back that might have that same history. I don't know. What do you think about this? About the Crimson Countess being potentially another antagonist for them to deal with? How's she going to come into all of this? And where's she been?
That kills my theory for sure. Maybe not, but I think so. And you're saying she shoots a fireball in this at someone?
Apparently, yeah. Maybe it was in the first trailer.
I don't know. This is the first trailer.
What? Oh, you're right. This is the only look we've gotten, isn't it?
Yeah.
Wait, no, it's not.
Yeah, what? Are you sure?
It comes out in 2 weeks. We've already gotten a trailer for this, haven't we?
This is the season 3 official trailer. Have we gotten a teaser? I can't remember.
I don't remember.
I don't remember, man. Time
I guess
is relative.
I did not think that this was the first look we had gotten. But yeah, regardless, yeah, no, we did. We got one back in March. And this is where she was shown shooting that fireball. So
Gotcha.
Yeah, but
okay,
that makes a little more sense because I really wasn't getting antagonistic vibes from her in this trailer. It kind of seemed like she was helping save the day, but she did turn a couple guys into some human stew out in the open. So who knows? It seems like anyone can really do that and get away with it at this point.
It's very Scarlet Witchy of her. Maybe she should join Doctor Strange and
yeah, convenient timing, by the way.
Yeah, right. They're like, oh, we gotta put the Crimson Countess in here.
Yeah, it's like literally a month apart. But anyway, yeah, The Boys season 3. Are Thomas and I the only ones watching this, or are there other people that are interested in this show? Thomas, I think you and I are gonna have to run through this show again and catch ourselves up, because reading about this trailer a little bit, I realized there's a lot that I need to brush up on.
Yeah, I think we should probably. We got okay. Let's live production meeting really fast because we got a lot of stuff coming out. You, I know, are not as interested in the Kenobi, so we will not be reviewing that. You can catch those reviews on Reckless Rebellion with the Star Wars fanatics. Yours truly, good old fashioned Thunder buddy David Thompson, as well as friend of the show Kleinfeld and Jack Hughes. That's where we're gonna go deep into the wars, into the Kenobi of it all. I wasn't ready to throw that one in right there, but we also have June 3rd, The Boys. May 27th drops Bob's Burgers, the movie, Top Gun Maverick, Stranger Things Part 1, Season 4, Part 1. June 3rd is then, obviously, I just said The Boys, but June 8th is Miss Marvel. What are we going to cover?
Yeah, we're starting a second podcast. It's just going to be LTA Part 2, where we're going to have to split every week up for the next month because there's a lot of new content coming out. I don't know how we're going to get through all of it, but we're going to do it for you, and it's going to be a lot of fun. But yeah, we're going to have to catch up on The Boys here and there when we can. There's too much coming out right now.
There is. There
not a bad
really
problem to have.
Is. Not at all. Maybe, again, live production meeting. Maybe we just our only guaranteed scheduled show be Mondays and we just do the news, Monday news, maybe
whatever is worthy enough to make it in there will just be 5 topics every Monday. And
30 minutes of the news, maybe 4 hours of the news. We don't know. It's just us.
Breaking. It's too much to handle. LTA calls it quits. It's going to be rough, but it's going to be a lot of fun.
Jesus.
Miss Marvel will be, I think, the most interesting one is going to be Miss Marvel, I think, because I have no idea who's even going to be watching. You know, is it going to be all Marvel fans? Is it going to be no Marvel fans? Is it going to be just a super polarized group, or I have no idea who's going to be tuning in for that weekly. I'm sure everyone will check it out eventually, but who's going to make the time for it while it's running? So that one I'll really enjoy going over on a weekly basis because it'll be very new for Marvel. But other than that, yeah, we're gonna have quite a bit on our plate.
New plan. Live production meeting will cease after this. Mondays, Miss Marvel Mondays. We do Miss Marvel. We do What the News. Then boom, special episodes on the other stuff we want to cover because we'll have to fit those in when we can.
Yes, yeah, but we'll make it work.
Yeah, we have time. But that is enough of the boys. That is enough of production meetings. Now we're going to sell some tickets to stuff. That was a terrible intro. Here's some ads. Thanks.
Famous Faces and Funnies in Melbourne, Florida is leading the way in pop culture fun. From comic books and graphic novels to Funko Pops and collector's items, Famous Faces and Funnies has it all. Rick Shea and the professional team at Famous Faces and Funnies are friendly and knowledgeable. Whether you're looking for toys, props, collector treasures, or a new comic book, Famous Faces and Funnies is your one-stop shop. To find Famous Faces and Funnies on Facebook and Twitter, just type at FFF Comics.
Join author Gary Zeiger for an animatic short film based on his breakaway Stingray novel series. Watch this animatic short based on the novel Stingray, You Can't Hide Forever at stingrayseries.com. In Stingray, You Can't Hide Forever, Captain Epsilon is putting the band back together to rescue his protege's little sister from the evil conglomerate, while keeping his state-of-the-art warship Stingray out of their hands. Watch as the adventure unfolds in the groundbreaking animatic short at stingrayseries.com. Then, join the crew of Stingray with the next novel in the series, Stingray Prophecy, where Captain Epsilon and Dr. Zubre are pivotal players in an ancient prophecy. Can they reunite the people of two worlds before they destroy each other? To learn more, visit stingrayseries.com.
JRB, I need you to find, add into the show note or to the brand here really fast. Valkyrie and the Mighty Thor. I could not find it, and
You got it.
well, I found it. The version I downloaded is not going to load. However, we are back. We're going to go ahead and dive into everyone's favorite segment, and I'm going to start off the top with a lightning round news segment of You'll Never Guess. What, the news? Welcome to the fastest news segment that has never existed. It is Lightning News. We're talking Love and Thunder hype train because you know me. I've been waiting my entire life to talk about this movie because it's going to be the movie made for the world. We're talking Love and Thunder. First up, we got some photos. I believe it was May 7th. This photo here from Empire dropped showing yoked Jane Foster. I almost called her Padme. I'm super sorry. I love Star Wars. And super yoked Chris Hemsworth in a super dope new black and gold and blue costume. We get to see it up close. Holy crap, is that going to be expensive to make? And then the second photo that came out today, as JRB has loaded up here for us, is Valkyrie and the mighty Thor. And we all know how in shape Valkyrie is, right? Well, she looks extra in shape here. And now, you know, next to Chris Hemsworth, really quick, Jane, excuse me, Natalie Portman, still, you know, it's slightly, you can tell she's in shape, right? But it's not like, oh, okay, like how in shape is she? Because
I don't know, man.
Unfairly to her,
yeah,
he has been super freaking jacked. He got super jacked for this film, and now he's bigger than Hulk Hogan was to play Hulk Hogan in the Hulk Hogan movie for Netflix. So he's getting bigger than he's ever been in his life. So that's no fault of her. He literally is going insane. He's going in God mode in terms of physical fitness. But now we can see with how in shape we know and how jacked Tessa Thompson is. And next to her is Natalie Portman, who is even more jacked. Holy effing tits, dude. This movie is going to be insane, and I cannot wait. I shot you something earlier today. This lightning news is going way long. I shot you something. I shot you something earlier today. Do you remember what I said in text about this?
About this shot? Yes. There were a couple things. So first thing you said was, ah! And then the second thing you said in all caps are they king and queen?
Yes. Yes, that was my first thought. I felt, you know, I only looked at the characters at the top, right? I was not paying attention to anyone but the shiny, amazing suits of the characters that I know and love already from previous appearances. But I said that, and then I found this great quote from Taika Waititi, talking, prepping, and what is the word? Anyways, he said, I wanted to embrace this thing that I was always a bit dismissive of and explore this idea of love and show characters who do believe in love. On paper, it feels kind of cringy to me, but there's a way of doing it with cool characters, making a cool movie. I should have done this with his accent the whole time, I just realized. And also having a thing for that no fan ever wants in a superhero movie, which is people talking about love and characters kissing. I don't know why I became British, whatever. We're rolling with it. I think most people will assume that the love story is between Natalie Portman, Chris and Natalie. I can't promise that what people think is going to happen in the film will happen. So boys, ladies, gentlemen, non-binary individuals, I think I'm right. Think I'm right on that. Can't wait for that. Because, you know, Tessa Thompson has said,
are? Where are they?
Where are they?
There's someone else sitting in front of them who I think you also might have an idea as to who it might be.
Too many ideas, yes.
Too many ideas, he says. But yeah, it does seem a little odd that we just saw a bunch of Egyptian gods in Moon Knight, and now we see this lovely lady sitting in front of both of them. And who does she remind you of?
Reminds me of Black Panther and T'Challa. You know what I'm saying? Maybe looks like a guard of some tomb.
Yeah.
You know, somebody pointed out something on the internet, on Twitter, that I'm now realizing all of their facial expressions do have the same expression. So what they said might be true. I'll bring it up later in a minute if I remember. But here, that looks like Wakandan vibes, we'll say. And there's been rumors that Bast is going to be showing up in Thor: Love and Thunder, which makes sense. It's a god we've learned about. And, you know, again, they just mentioned the ancestral plane in Moon Knight. You know, while being mentioned by an Egyptian god, having said that she's been there. Okay. Right. So it seems that wherever Bast is located in the great beyond of whatever, I think that's where they're at. And I'm very excited to see that in some form or fashion. Another important thing to note is they all kind of have this like annoyed expression, right?
Mm-hmm. They do
King
seem kind of
Valkyrie.
pissed.
King Valkyrie is doing her best to be like, okay, calm. And then the mighty Thor is kind of just like doing her, okay, whatever. But down below is a genuine side eye.
Right. Literally, like, seriously?
Like, so somebody said that on Twitter, I don't remember who they were. Shout out to you because you said it. Oh, I can find it though. Shout out to that person. It said, I bet that they're looking at Hercules doing something incredibly dumb. And I felt that so hard.
It does kind of feel like that moment where they're looking at the one guy in the room who's just doing something so unnecessary while they're all trying to get something done here. Where like they're not looking directly at who's in front of them, they're looking to someone off to the side, like maybe one of the Guardians. Maybe Drax and Rocket are talking about some more stolen batteries or something while they're talking to this council of powerful women. Who knows? But so we are getting more and more images from Thor 4, Love and Thunder. We still haven't seen Gore the God Butcher yet, but that's who told you who made that joke? Who was
that?
It
was Bree at Thor Jane. The O in Thor is a 0, not a letter.
Nice. Go give him a like.
Go give him a like. Go give her a like, I believe. Let's look at the thing. I don't remember. Back to the show. Sorry. Love you, Bree. Great content. Love following you. Gore is reportedly terrifying. This comes from John Campia, so take that with all the salt. Robert Mayer Burnett, I guess we'll call him Rob. Rob says, and you and I have seen pictures of Gore. Campia says, oh yeah, we got footage of Gore. We have it, and we're not sharing it with people because I got in trouble for that before. No shit. And oh my God, when you guys see Christian Bale as Gore, oh my God, because what we saw was straight up freaky. It is a thing that right out of nightmares. Aaron Cummings, yeah, I saw the photo. I've had nightmares like every night ever since. It is absolutely terrifying. Good. Yeah. Taika has also been known to has also said that they think they found the best Marvel villain in the MCU with Christian Bale.
Yeah, this is the conversation where they're talking about that is that they've brought up Gore the God Butcher on the John Campia show probably 3 or 4 times now, just only saying how much they like it. And they won't say anything further than that, which I'm happy about, you know. But somehow they got their hands on some early footage of him, and they're saying it's absolutely terrifying. So clearly there's a lot more to Gore than what we're seeing so far and these toys that are leaking. But yeah, from everyone at the John Campia show who's claiming to have seen this, they're saying that it's the most terrifying thing ever. And the director of the movie, take that with a grain of salt, is saying they might have the best Marvel villain ever. They all went on to say that, you know, that might just be the director patting himself on the back, but there's no reason to do that when it's Christian Bale that's playing him. You know, you're already expecting a certain level of greatness. So to take it that far, especially coming right off the heels of Thanos and Loki still being around and Killmonger still popping up here and there, it's pretty crazy that they're making this claim. But hopefully they're saving something good for us. Yeah. I think we'll see him in the next trailer.
Yes, I think we will get a glimpse of him at his scariest moment. And I don't know, man. I don't know if I want to watch the next trailer. Like I do. Don't get me wrong. I want it. I need it. But I have this thing with Thor movies where I consume all of it because I'm trying to make a costume. So it's like research / oh my God, this is going to be crazy. And then it always kind of hurts me a little bit when I go into the movie. Like Ragnarok did not hurt me, but there was a part of me going, man, there's a lot of emotion being left on the floor right now.
Yes, there was. Thank you. And that was one of my main gripes with that movie was that Thor's coping mechanism was shown off, which was great, but that's all that was shown off. You know, there was a lot that we missed out on because it was so much more humor centric and so much more action adventure rather than catering to the weight of the emotion of it all from like the prior 2 films. That was a change of pace I wasn't really there for, which is that's the main gripe I have with that movie. So I'm totally with you there.
How do you feel now having seen, so let's call Thor Ragnarok the start of 2 trilogies. Thor's trilogy of redemption and Hulk's trilogy of self-acceptance.
See, I don't want to call that Hulk's journey yet because apparently we're still getting more of it. So I don't think calling it a trilogy would say there's some sort of closure to that story. They still left it pretty open, and didn't tell us much at all. So this was just Hulk being places, making changes to himself. Really
self-acceptance.
I've really resented how he's just been on the back burner for like a decade now. And they just kind of fit him into wherever it fits best and just hope we're okay with the answer. But with Thor,
blame Paramount.
Thor in Avengers 3 and 4 has more emotional weight than any of his films, even all of his films combined. So I really like that take on it, where Ragnarok was the catalyst that really allowed us to explore Thor on this level. It might not have had those elements itself, but it paved the way for us to study that element extra hard in like anything he's in going forward. So yeah, I like that.
Very excited to see what he's going. I mean, this whole movie's about love. So like, what's there not to love? Well, apparently with DC, CW, Warner Bros, JRB, take it away. DC's cancel crisis on Infinite CW.
Yeah. So as everyone may know, Warner Bros has been taken over by Discovery. So their CEO, I think his name is Zaslav, David Zaslav, has been just canceling everything from the DC branch of Warner Bros, specifically on CW. So as of April 15th, Deadline had shared an update saying that the Arrowverse shows that were currently in the bubble for next season renewals, and a lot has changed since then. So Legends of Tomorrow, Batwoman, Naomi, Gotham Knights were all in consideration to be picked up for the next season. 3 out of 4 of those will no longer be moving forward. So Gotham Knights is the only show that will actually get picked up now. And that's it. Like the rest of them are just done. Naomi was only on 1 season. I think Batwoman was on 2, but Legends of Tomorrow had run like 7. Legends of Tomorrow kind of makes sense, but that was one of their stronger standing shows left over from that Arrowverse. Batwoman was hardly had legs of its own with all the stuff it was dealing with, but they did have a new actress that was really excited for the role, so I kind of felt bad about that. And Naomi was such an obscure character that got little to no promo that I don't think anyone was ever going to catch on to that series. So I think that was probably the right call. But yeah, the Hollywood Reporter shared that the real reason behind these cancellations of the majority of the Arrowverse on the CW was while they were pointing out that fans should expect more low-cost foreign acquisitions and unscripted programming next season on the CW. The network CEO Mark Pedowitz wanted to bring back Batwoman and Legends of Tomorrow, but Warner Bros. No longer wanted to pay the leases on the studio space for these shows, which expired at the beginning of this month. So it seems to be a combination of things where they're no longer willing to put the money into these shows, and they just don't. I guess they don't see the return. Or this new ownership at least. But yeah, those 2 Arrowverse series are canceled. They're done. We don't know why the Naomi series was canceled, but it was probably, if they're cutting costs with a show that went 7 seasons like Legend of Tomorrow, they're not going to keep around a show like Naomi that no one's watching anyway. So, were you particularly attached to any of these titles, or does this kind of seem like more of a necessary cause?
They canceled one of the greatest shows to have ever graced network television with an ensemble, and that is Legend of Tomorrow. That show is punk rock jazz, man. It is improv punk rock jazz. All right, it is art and humor from the soul. That show is bonkers. Like when it started out, it was typical Arrowverse, which was kind of okay. Then in around season 3, it really found its legs. listen, when they introduced like Amaya, I love that actress. She crushes it in every role. She was in Star Wars The Force Awakens, and she was killed, and then I'm trying to think. Okay, you've seen Force Awakens, right?
Yeah.
All right. In the scene where Starlight, damn it, Starkiller Base, Starkiller Base. Yeah, man, I'm sorry. There's so many stars in the world, like the sun, Ra. While we're here, also I'm technically a sun. You're a sun. Anyways,
oh God, we're never gonna get to this.
We're never gonna get into this. Sorry, I had to vamp for a second. Amaya has a great story, and the actress Maisie Richardson Sellers, excuse me, she was the senator or liaison sent from Leia to the New Republic. So when Starkiller Base does that thing and blows up all of the New Republic, when you see someone run out onto the balcony all scared, like, yeah, that's her. That's her one scene instead of the 2 extra scenes that she was in, I do believe. But you know what? She's in a Star Wars and she's in the greatest show of all time. That's not true. MASH. But Legends of Tomorrow, absolutely great. 7 seasons. Because they didn't want to renew the studio lease. That's just that. I got to use it here. That's just fucking depressing. That's my one F-bomb. That is genuinely depressing to hear.
That is a horrible way to find out that you've lost your job.
Yeah.
As the reason why you're not going to work on Monday is because they didn't want to keep the space open for you to do that work. I mean, obviously,
love it.
Yeah, right. And I mean, the Legends of Tomorrow has been a show running for years and years now, and it certainly built quite a fan base, or it wouldn't still be on. But I got to ask, as someone who doesn't watch the show, at 7 seasons, where was that show headed? What were they going to do? By season 7, where were they as a team? What did it mean?
All right. Let me break this down as simple as I can.
What have I gotten into here?
Season 3, it starts to get crazy. I want to say season 3 or 4 deals with magic. And then season 5, they deal with it's a lot. They deal with magic, aliens, time travel, space travel. The first 3 seasons, they're trying to fight anachronisms that they're trying to save the timeline. Then someone blows the timeline up and they change everything and they get written out of the whole series. Oh, spoiler alert. No, they don't, because doppelgangers. And so instead of being this one version of a character, they're now playing this version of a character. And their brother. The
Crisis on Infinite Earths?
No,
that was something else.
They don't even really cross over with that.
What? I thought that was the whole point.
If you hold on. If you watch all of Legends of Tomorrow, you'll never see an episode, I don't believe, of oh no, you're right. There was one. I'm wrong. There was one episode, but I forgot that it was even a Legends episode because it's just the Crisis on Infinite Earths episode, part 5.
But it's not very detrimental to the show's.
At that point, everyone is dead on the show except for 2. And then once they reset the universe, they're basically like, yeah, we kind of did this thing for
a
2
universe
months.
Reset. Okay, well, yeah, you can't have much of a show after the whole universe gets reset. So I guess it does make sense that 7 seasons was enough.
Yeah, they were in the time stream too, so they're kind of whatever.
So it sounds like they were really having to reach, but I don't know. I don't watch it, so that could have been really cool. But I don't know. For everyone listening and watching, what do you guys think? Should Warner Bros. Have kept these DC titles? Should Legends of Tomorrow and Batwoman and Naomi still be running? Let us know. And maybe I'm the one who's just very out of touch when it comes to the CW stuff. But with that, Thomas, let's transition over to something else. Instead of Warner Bros., we're going to look back over to Disney. They've got a spot coming up tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern time. It'll be Disney's turn for their in-person upfront presentation. which might actually give us something pretty cool. Thomas, do you want to lead us into this one?
Yeah, so this comes from Murphy's Multiverse. Whoa, I pulled my desk. This comes from Murphy's Multiverse, and I saw it on the tweet, and they're promising an event that will be unlike anything you've ever seen. And this comes from Walt Disney Company's president of advertising sales, Rita Farrow. For Disney, the event could provide an opportunity for them to shine a spotlight on the upcoming schedule, which we all know they don't do for Disney Plus. Maybe they're going to talk about Hulu and ESPN Plus as well. The upfront will also include news on Disney's key networks such as ABC and ESPN. It's apparently being sourced as well from Hollywood Reporter and Deadline, but there's a rumor going out that it's going to include Star Wars and Marvel. So
that's big.
It's huge. It's huge, man.
Do you think maybe that's where we'll see this picture of Gore the God Butcher? Because we did get another still for the movie today. Is that still going to be included in maybe a second teaser trailer that we see in a sizzle reel? I don't know.
I would be happy for a sizzle reel.
I mean, all they have besides that to promote for Marvel right now is Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness, which has already been out for 2 weeks now, or week and a half. And you have Miss Marvel coming out in June for, Disney Plus side of things. So I don't know. I'm not familiar with these upfronts. Is it typical for them to show things from their theatrical side, or is it strictly going to be what's going to be on TV?
It
seems more geared towards television, right?
It does seem to be geared towards television, and I'm currently looking at Deadline's article from 2 days ago on the Upfront Week 2022 breakdown of it all. Because, Fox went today at 4 p.m. YouTube went at breakfast. NBC Universal went at 10:30 a.m. So I saw this not too long before we hopped on here. So I still have to dive in to find out what news has come out of these other upfronts.
Yeah.
But Disney tomorrow, man.
It seems more, network and streaming, it seems like. So anything Disney Plus based is probably what we'll get an update on for like the Marvel side and Star Wars, stuff like that. We might see some new stuff for maybe a new 30 for 30 announced for ESPN Plus, but ABC is going to be on there too. So I'm sure we'll see some original content from that side of things, and ESPN as well. So this is good timing considering basketball is finishing up, and we'll pretty much just have baseball through the summer once hockey's finished too. So ESPN's going to have some other programming ready to go. But yeah, we'll probably see a couple of good feature films come out of this that go straight to TV. Maybe like an ABC original, and maybe like a 30 for 30 on, I don't know, something baseball related or something post-COVID for basketball. I don't know. But yeah, I wouldn't expect too much from it, but saying it's unlike anything we've ever seen is pretty huge. Certainly not what I would expect when hearing that it's just going to be like a TV thing. That saying it's like unlike anything else kind of feels like an investor day level of hype, like that's a lot to say of this.
It does. And yeah, it's all TV. It is apparently, I do believe it is directed at the 60. It's directed at the TV ad business and media companies. Because that's kind of what I'm reading through here really quick on this Deadline article that I wish I had earlier today to fully dive in. Where is it? I just saw previous new fronts. Going. So they were doing stuff last week or maybe earlier on, new fronts. Yes. So Amazon had some stuff, Peacock. But coming up will be on Wednesday, Warner Brothers, Discovery, and Paramount. And then Thursday is the CW upfront. So we might find something cool out We might
Really?
get footage of Gotham
CW's going to
Knight.
have an upfront after all those announcements?
You mean
Do
all
they
those
all-
cancellations?
Well, right, because they
they've
said they
already
were
been
going to be.
filming,
Well,
so-
I'm confused because they just said that they're going to be replaced by all this other stuff. So, like, do they already have that slate of content ready, or is this going to be like the last hurrah for everything that's currently on CW that we see in this upfront? That's going to be really odd after all these changes that we're seeing.
It could be the last hurrah.
Or it could be the perfect opportunity for them to
Well-
rebrand the CW.
Yeah, entirely. Well,
Yeah,
here's what I'm
that's-
thinking. I don't know if these shows survive because I feel like Warner Brothers Discovery would rather put everything on HBO Max.
So you think it's less of a decision to put things in like a network studio type setting, and that's why they didn't renew those leases, and they'd rather move everything under one umbrella, more similar to what Netflix is doing?
Yeah, more similar, I would say, to what Marvel is doing with DC.
Okay.
I mean, with
I
what
see what you mean with
Disney's
Marvel.
doing with Marvel, excuse me.
So
Because it's all like film or Disney Plus. You can't find it anywhere else. So DC.
okay. So just in
HBO
terms
Max.
of where they're holding the content.
Yes.
Okay. Because it gets a lot more convoluted than just Marvel Studios as one umbrella, because you have the DCEU, and then you have the Arrowverse, and then you have all these other separate pieces like the Joker and the Batman and everything else that's going on. But that makes more sense. Just moving it all under one roof to find it more easily and build a more cohesive library to where maybe if they really do want to start venturing into that multiverse stuff that'll follow after the Flash movie, fans will be able to make more sense of it and have the backlog to go back and understand it through HBO Max. That makes sense. I could see that.
But I guess we'll find out Thursday, right? Because they could just drop, oh, here's the Gotham Knights trailer.
Yeah, right.
Normally,
I mean, they do seem pretty confident in that one.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that'll be their main focus. It'd be cool if they take like just one or two things at a time for the next year or two, and in terms of like TV, and just put all of their effort into that. Because when they did that with Peacemaker, it did really well. So if they can keep that sort of effort, that sort of compartmentalization when they're building a new series with a new character or group of characters, it's not just because you brought James Gunn in. You know, there's a lot more that had to go right with that series, especially on a newer platform like HBO Max, where it had to hit in the right places for the right audience. And putting James Gunn's name on that for someone like Peacemaker isn't enough to get the response that they ended up getting. So I think you're right. I think they're probably seeing that and seeing the lack thereof that you see with CW.
Yeah.
And they're wanting to make that transition sooner rather than later. I like that, because we don't see any network Marvel stuff really anymore. Not anything, in my opinion, worth spending the time on.
Well, it all got canceled, so there's nothing, if we're being honest at all.
Right.
There is nothing. So, yeah, I agree with that. Speaking of someone that can turn something into nothing and nothing into something, the Scarlet Witch. We already talked about her, but let's bring her back up. There is a quote from Elizabeth Olsen. She sat down with Fandango via Rotten Tomatoes to talk about Wanda Maximoff's MCU future after Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. I'm only going to focus on one quote for this discussion, and that is her quote about being an older MCU Scarlet Witch. She says, "If there's a good idea, I'm happy to play her. I also think her being old will actually be kind of amazing. In the comics, her power kind of deteriorates and ages her in a way in some of the comics." That was a hard sentence. I do think of that as being kind of amazing. I kind of imagine myself one day with like prosthetics and silver hair and like playing her at this like older, wiser woman. And so I do have this kind of dream of aging her quite a bit. I just really think she's ancient in her, like the myth of the Scarlet Witch is this ancient myth. And so that's something that I kind of adore about a potential future that I'm just kind of throwing out, and I don't really know where it would go. JRB.
Well, okay. Before we say anything else, she did that during the Age of Ultron press, and she ended up explaining exactly the arc she ended up being taken on as the Scarlet Witch in the MCU during a 2015 press tour. So when she throws out these little Easter eggs like that, it's very possible that it's actual discussions she's had with Marvel Studios. So let's keep that in mind.
Yes. I was gonna ask what you thought about this, but it seems like you're as hot on it as I am.
I think she knows exactly what's going on with the Scarlet Witch for the next 20 years. Robert Meyer Burnett on the John Campea show actually brought up a really good point about this, where we all know, spoilers for Multiverse of Madness if you haven't seen it yet, we all know that by the end of the film, it's at least implied that she might be dead. Now, as a typical Marvel fan, you might say to yourself, well, she's not really dead. We didn't see a body, and if there's no body, no death, right? We've seen it 100 times. We're probably going to see Kingpin again because he was killed off screen in Hawkeye. We're probably going to, it happens over and over again.
He's got a bulletproof face. Come on.
Right. It only hurts his eyeball, which he can eventually heal anyway. So when it comes to Scarlet Witch's death at the end of Multiverse of Madness, they most likely left it obscure on purpose so they can choose whether or not to bring her back when they want to, how they want to. And I think Elizabeth Olsen has a lot to do with that, because she recently talked about how she had to miss out on certain things in her career to keep up this role and this appearance, this constant appearance in the MCU. So Robert Meyer Burnett brought up a really good point that she might have talked to Marvel, talked to Kevin Feige, and said, "Hey, why don't you kill me off for a bit? Why don't you remove me, and then you can insert me back whenever you want? But can I take a break to pursue some other things?" Because that interview seemed like it was really taking a toll on her. And not that she was ungrateful for where she was in the MCU, but that it wasn't all she wanted from her career. So where we are with the Scarlet Witch currently, I personally wasn't expecting to have such an abrupt end to her story. And I think a lot of people can agree with that, especially not after seeing what was WandaVision. Just a month ago, we were all still speculating, will WandaVision have some sort of season 2 or something? Mm-hmm. Now what are we going to do? So I think they left her in this. What's that?
Cry?
Yeah, cry. Right, exactly. Because now we're all sitting here going, wait, I thought we were just getting started. Yeah. I still think that we can feel that way while also accepting that she's not going to be around for a while. So maybe this more matured Scarlet Witch is someone we'll come across later. And that's why she's planting that seed now, because it seems like they left it out, or left her kind of out of the way intentionally so they can revisit it whenever they think it's best. But what do you think? Do you think Scarlet Witch is coming back in the MCU? Do you think she's done? Or do you think this is like 100% on the money going to happen someday? What do you think?
Let me say that Hela was once called a witch, and she also died in the exact same way, a big energy explosion. So if they are genuinely dead and Wanda somehow comes back, that means Hela can come back, right?
I love this. Yes. All right. But so we're getting more Hela confirmed.
Obviously I'm a source because I was once in a multiversal MCU universe and it was very different. My bad. But I definitely think that this is going to happen. And the energy explosion, can be explained in a lot of different ways. But however she comes back, which, if she's in an afterlife, maybe she gets brought back to life, because that's a thing that probably will have to happen. I don't think that happens. I think she's just blipped into some other location doing her thing. Like, well, let me try and actually repent this time. But the dark hold does take a toll on its user. So for her, it could age her. It could have deteriorated her. And the Agatha show could be Wanda, Agatha, Agatha, Wanda, Wanda.
And we'll see somebody post using the Darkhold too, because Agatha was corrupted by the Darkhold and now she's not. So on top of having Doctor Strange have that element to his character now, we also have Agatha Harkness, who was corrupted by the Darkhold, is now being held in Westview. Let me ask you this: since every Darkhold across the universe is gone due to Scarlet Witch's acts, does that also mean that Scarlet Witch's spells that she casts are no longer in effect? Because Agatha's under her spell in Westview.
Yes, but she's not under her spell because of the Darkhold.
Right. So how connected are those two?
See, Wanda's hex on Agatha, I think is strictly from her power. But if she dies, maybe that's what breaks it.
The basis of my question is because the Darkhold in the 616 universe was destroyed like halfway through the movie. But it wasn't until Wanda died that the rest of them were destroyed. Is that because she destroyed the temple?
I didn't take it as that. I took it as she did a hex to destroy them in all of them.
Wow.
As the temple went down, because she had that ability at that time.
So it wasn't an effect of. Well, she would still have to reach across every universe to be able to do that. That's a lot of power. And she needed America,
which is more powerful than
she needed America for that before. I don't know, man. That's I like how open to interpretation this still is. I think that's certainly intentional. And I do think that was with Elizabeth Olsen returning in mind. I would never think that this is the last time we'll see her. I just don't know how we'll see her again, and how relevant she's going to be, because I thought we were entering a new age of the Scarlet Witch right now. And then this happened. I don't know what they're doing.
Honestly, who the heck does? I'm here for it. I love me some Lizzie Olsen. That's our news.
Yeah,
that's
man.
all we got.
That's all we got news-wise. There were a couple. So in other news, there were a couple big movie announcements that came out of CinemaCon a couple weeks ago that we didn't get to talk about last week because of everything else going on in the world. So there were a couple movies I wanted to throw at you just to get your thoughts on them. The first one being Margot Robbie's Barbie movie. We have to talk about that one before anything else. What were you thinking when you saw this first picture of Margot Robbie as Barbie? I'm going to get it pulled up for the viewers here.
Are you ready? You ready to know?
Yeah.
I'm a Barbie girl in a Barbie world.
Of course.
Wrapped in plastic. It's fantastic. Yeah.
Yes. Absolutely.
90s. Yes. Absolutely was my first thought. And then my second thought was, I don't know if this is going to be rated R to be hilarious, or this is going to be PG-13 or PG, excuse me. But I don't think it's a PG-13. I think this is either straight up PG, because it is produced by the Mattel, I believe, is the one that makes Barbie. And
is it?
As you know, toy IP goes a long way. Looking at you, Power Rangers. Looking at you, Transformers, G.I. Joe. Like, a lot of our pop culture genre stuff were originally coming out of toys.
Right.
So, very excited for this because Margot Robbie is great in everything. And this cast is almost... Is it this cast that's almost as stacked as...
The Barbie cast is
Chris Nolan?
Unreasonably talented. We have Margot Robbie playing Barbie and Ryan Gosling as Ken. And then you have America Ferrera, Simu Liu, Kate McKinnon, Emma Mackey, Will Ferrell will be in there. Ice Cube's going to make an appearance. Michael Cera and Scott Evans are both rumored to appear as well. Those might be confirmed. But yeah, there's a lot of big names, unexpectedly big names showing up in this Barbie film.
Yeah.
That it makes me wonder how much of a box office pull it's actually going to have, because it seems like all these bigger names are buying into something that might actually be pretty successful.
Yeah, it's very interesting to say the least. And if I'm not mistaken, Margot is also producing this.
I believe she has a producer credit on it. Yeah, this is the Barbie movie is going to be a very interesting experiment at the box office. But what do you guys think? Are you going to be watching Barbie with Margot Robbie? Leave your thoughts in the comments. Next one up is Olivia Wilde's film called Don't Worry, Darling. It's got Florence Pugh and why am I blanking on Harry Styles?
Harry
It's Florence
Styles.
Pugh and Harry Styles at the forefront. And I gotta say, the trailer was a lot trippier than what I was expecting out of this classic 50s, 60s ish vibe movie. It's a psychological thriller about a 1950s housewife whose reality begins to crack, revealing a disturbing truth underneath. So her husband has her kind of with him where he's moved them to this desert area for work, where he's working on some sort of apparent like government project that they're like not allowed to talk about. And it just kind of descends further and further into chaos as she's trying to figure out why they're there. Olivia Wilde also appears as a supporting role in the movie, as well as Chris Pine and Gemma Chan.
Wow.
So already just those 5 names is like really rounding out the cast. You'll also have Asif Ali, who was Norm in WandaVision. He'll be in there. And Nick Kroll will be making an appearance as well. But yeah, it looks like it's going to be a real psychological like thrill ride. And it seems very risque. It's definitely got a filthy element to it. But yeah, it looks like a ton of fun. Have you gotten a chance to watch the trailer for this one?
I have not.
No, I'm going to text it over to you because I think you'll really dig this one. It's got kind of a gritty feel to it. It's very similar to kind of the same vibe as Jordan Peele is putting out with his films, with things like Nope and Get Out and Us, where it all seems, all fun and games until they try to figure out, what's going on. But yeah, it looks like a great one, and I'm really looking forward to it.
I've heard everyone talking about it. I've not watched it yet. I don't have a reason why.
Well, we're gonna change that.
Been busy, I guess.
Yeah, right. And then we have the last one that I wanted to talk about, which is David O. Russell's Amsterdam. This is going to be a period film directed and produced by David O. Russell. The cast in this one is like even crazier. So it's got Michael B. Jordan, Christian Bale, and Margot Robbie at the forefront. Then it has John David Washington, Chris Rock, Taylor Swift, Rami Malek, Robert De Niro, Mike Myers, Anya Taylor-Joy, Zoe Saldana, Timothy Olyphant, and then there was one more name in here, Sean Avery. I don't know if you know who Sean Avery is, but he's actually an ice hockey player that has kind of turned to acting. So I was interested to see his name on there. But yeah, I mean that's gonna be freaking nuts to have this. I just seeing half of those names on there is like, holy crap, is this gonna win an Oscar? Like that's like Dallas Buyers Club level acting, where it's like everyone on the bill is like a mastermind in Hollywood. So I gotta say, I'm very much looking forward to this one. But yeah, and anyway, back to the plot of it. If I can even, everyone's only talking about like the amount of cast members that are like top billed actors, but all the real premise that they've given us is that 3 friends, a doctor, a nurse, and an attorney, become the prime suspects in a murder in the 1930s. So it's going to be like I don't even know, like a murder thrill in the Great Depression that's just filled to the brim with all of these huge Hollywood names, where it's probably going to have a similar feel to like Knives Out or like Death on the Nile, where it's like a murder mystery, but
that's what I need.
Yeah, it's it seems like you're going to see a big name at every turn in that one. So I think that one's going to be a fun watch just for the amount of people you're going to spot in it alone.
Fun. I like that. What else we got?
That's it, man. That's the one I wanted to cap it off with, because that seems like the one that's going to get a ton of attention once it rolls around. Looks like it's slated for a November 4th release right now, so we should be getting a trailer for it within the next month or two.
Wow. Fantastic. Well, that's crazy. Ladies, gentlemen, and beautiful non-binary individuals, we're closing out the show here. You can find all of our socials at linktree.com/LightsThunderAction. That'll get you Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Our Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, etc. We have been posting a lot more on Twitter lately. We'll get back to the regular Facebook scheduled posts to keep up with all of our live friends here on Facebook. And of course, Instagram. And maybe we will throw Thunder Buddies somewhere on an audio coming up. I don't know. We'll find out here soon.
Very nice.
Next time we see each other, JRB, it's gonna be after a wild week for me.
Yeah. Why don't you tell everyone a little bit more about what this week is going to have for you?
Oh yeah,
walk us through the journey that you're going to go on, so we can know what you're coming out of when we talk next.
Yes, that's a great point, because it's about to be the craziest convention I've ever gone to in my life. So last August, I went to MegaCon for the first time. All right. It is the biggest con in Florida, and it is insane on Saturdays. Like, so many people that I'm like, I'd rather just hide in the bathroom, if I'm being honest. There's a little too many folks. Last year I got to experience it a little bit, do the panel with David, cosplay a lot, meet people, kind of sort of try to break out of my shell. And then, but this time I leave Wednesday, drive down there. We set up on Wednesday. We start Thursday morning, I believe, at like 10 a.m. We go all day, get done, go to bed, or maybe network. Who knows? Wake up Friday, be there at like 8 probably, and go all day. Saturday, the same thing. Sunday, the same thing. Drive home Sunday. Well, what is going to happen during all this? I hear you wondering. I'm going to be running the HWWS interview show, Hanging with Web show, on camera. So I'm now having to learn how to be a journalist. So if you got any tips how to come up with good questions, I need
What's all this been for, if not this?
Yeah, I know, right? I guess I need to turn on my little Chris Farley vibe for like 30 seconds every interview. Anybody that I'm just like, this you're awesome, man. And they'd be like, all right, now back to seriousness, just to get it out of my system, because if I don't, it just builds up all day. But I'm very excited. I am incredibly nervous. And I'm also going to be helping with other panels. I'm helping run the booth. I'm helping produce other panels and shows and move everything around. So it's going to be a crazy convention. It's the kind of convention where we're about to bust our ass and get paid by them next year. MegaCon. That's our goal, is to get paid by Fan Expo and to be traveling to their southeast region and get paid and put up for it, because I think we're pretty damn good at what we do. So I'm out to prove that.
Good stuff.
All on my
best rep you could spend.
33% own. And then, of course, Saturday is Thunder Buddies panel with David. And that's going to be insane and fun. And it's going to be so exciting. But also, I put out a post on Facebook. There are so many people going to be at MegaCon. I have no idea if I'm going to get to see everybody. And that stresses me out more than anything. I just wanted to say hi to all my friends, man.
There's going to be a lot going on, and you can see Thomas Carter Rochester right at the center of it all weekend long. I'm really looking forward to this for you and for David both. It's going to be really cool to have David back.
Yeah.
Really nice.
Thunder Buddies live. It's a vibe. We'll have to somehow get one up there in Chicago.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, we'll have to bring one over to the Windy City up in the Midwest. You'll pack your winter coats and come meet me up here. It'll be fun.
Hell yeah. Let's make sure it's snowing so I can see snow finally.
Yeah, we got plenty of it. Don't come now. We're in like 3 months where it's for sure not going to happen, but any other time out of the year, it's a possibility.
So May to August, it just doesn't snow?
Yeah, and then like if it happens any other time of year, like it'd be weird, like September to November, not September, October, and then also like April through May. But like when it happens, you're like, it's stupid, but like it's happened before,
Okay, fair.
Yeah, it's not often, but yeah, come on up, see some snow. Most of it's
Yeah.
white, some of it's yellow.
Anyways,
Anyways,
snow, man.
if that doesn't bring us to the end of our show, I don't know what will. Thomas, are you going to have time to watch anything this week? What are you recommending for our audience?
I have not really been watching. I've been getting sucked in. My roommate has been spending less time playing video games and more time just relaxing, taking time to himself and watching Futurama. Can we talk really fast about how great this show is? It ages incredibly well. Like the old stuff it ages incredibly well. The newer stuff, which I don't think I've seen all of it apparently, because there was some stuff I'm like, I haven't seen this episode. But then Bender had a baby, and I was like, oh, I have seen this episode.
Oh, yeah. I haven't.
Oh yeah, dude. There's so many subtle little references. There's like a social media political joke that's like smothered in there. And then there's a whole, it's because it's Nixon versus someone, and the someone is like I don't want to spoil it for you. I don't want to spoil it.
All right.
But he's a really good politician and wants to cares about people and stuff, and doesn't want Nixon to win again because Nixon's the worst, right? So it's like an idiocracy of Earth, basically, that episode. But it's so good, so smart, and so intelligent.
Where can you watch it? Is that's not Paramount Plus, is it?
No, that's Hulu, baby.
Hulu. Okay. All right.
It's important to note that they're back, baby. They're coming back. So let's go. All the voice actors are coming back, I believe. Wow. Every single one, including John DiMaggio. So Futurama, it is more intelligent than you'd think, but just as dumb as you also think. And that balance is me. I don't know how, but it somehow is. I guess I'm a smart guy who plays the himbo well. But JRB, what are you going to be watching?
Oh man, I don't know. The new Apple TV Plus series, The Essex Serpent, just came out with Tom Hiddleston leading. So I really want to check that out. I think I'll probably end up diving into that this week. There's also a new dinosaur documentary on Apple TV Plus while I'm on the topic called Prehistoric Planet, narrated by David Attenborough. It's not starting for another week or two, but it's going to be like Apple TV Plus's nature documentary, specifically catering to dinosaur fanatics. So I really like learning about dinosaurs and like what humans think dinosaurs were and how they acted and what they did. So I'm really excited to see that, especially with David Attenborough's beautiful voice overlaid on the entire thing. He's by far one of my favorite narrators. So yeah, it'll be really good. That's not for a week or two. So I'll probably be going into the Essex Serpent first. Yeah, man, I think that does it. Other than just watching The Boys, trying to catch back up and everything before the new season starts in a couple weeks. Man, I'm really looking forward to that. We're going to have a lot of fun here on Lights Thunder Action with season 3 of The Boys.
Yeah, season 3 of us, season 3 of The Boys. It's just man, it's gonna be spectacular. My final recommendation, again, MEGACON, May 19th to the 22nd. One of my childhood friends who was basically my cousin growing up is going on Sunday, and I'm so excited because he's never been to a con before, and it's gonna blow his nerd mind, man. I can't wait for him to experience MEGACON. But he's not the only one that's gonna be there. Our friends of the show, other shows, of course, have friends of shows. That was a terrible segue. The Legends of the Traveling TARDIS. If I could use a TARDIS and go back in time and make that better, I would say our friends are also going to be there, and that's our friends at the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS. They like to talk the Doctor Who. I've never seen Doctor Who, but time travel is my favorite narrative plot device, right? It is amazing. I love it. I don't know what it is about it. Am I a time traveler and I just got stuck in a body set in the past? But I genuinely, JRB's face is like, okay.
We're just gonna breeze right over that.
Just gonna breeze right over that, because our friends the Kitchen Killers are also going to be there. Billy Floyd and the Commodore. We're gonna play their ad on the way out. Shout out Billy Floyd. He's actually opened up his house as well to some of the people that have to travel long distances aka ya boy. So appreciate that, Billy. I'm also checking in on a couple other places because I would like to sleep very comfortably since my shoulder's all dinged up right now. But hey, if I end up sleeping in on a couch or in a car, I'll do that too, because I'm excited for MegaCon. I'm excited to hear everybody, meet everybody. I'm very excited for you fans, our Thunder buddies, to meet us live. And by us, I mean me and David Thompson. He's also a producer of the show, which brings us to the end of the show, where we have to thank everyone, including the Iron Man variant to my right now, world famous journalist John Ross Bradford, bringing a much needed eloquence and wit here. Thank you to Terry McIver and David Thompson for their producing work behind the scenes. Thank you to the HWWS WebTV for supporting us and carrying us on the network and getting us amazing opportunities such as MegaCon. Most importantly, thank you to you, our fans, our Thunder buddies that join us weekly, whether you're watching on Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, or YouTube, or, listening audibly via Apple Podcasts, Good Pods, or Spotify. We appreciate you spending your time with us.
Yes, we appreciate it. Yes, we do. Please like, follow, and subscribe. Drop us a comment, leave us a review, give us 5 stars. Of course, if you feel we are worthy.
Worthy. As always, I'm TCR.
And I am JRB.
Thank you for joining episode 86 of LTA. We'll see you next time. Ciao.
We are a touring acoustic duo crashing kitchens around the country. We go from house to house every Friday night, and we create music, we create food, a good time, we stream it live, and we do it for free. So now we're just really kind of like trying to develop it and build a community group that people believe in, then they'll help us. So we played from our rehearsal room, we played from the bathroom, thankfully that didn't catch on.
I probably played guitar in my room, not for anyone, in front of anyone, nobody heard, for probably about 10 years.
And then one Friday night, we played from the kitchen. It's the main place people want to be. It's where the food is, it's where the drink is, it's where the best lighting is. You can go to any party and I guarantee you, the kitchen is going to be popping.
Our ultimate goal, I think, would be to crash kitchens every Friday all around the world.